Coming up on Mountain News this morning, the Department of Justice has sent Congress a list of potentially exposed persons in the Epstein files. We'll catch you up. And your favorite bottle of bourbon or six-pack of beer could soon cost you a lot more.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Welcome to Mountain News This Morning. I'm Neely Green here with you on this Monday, February 16th. The time is now 6 o'clock, and let's check in with meteorologist Megan Dusnell for a look at your forecast this morning. Megan, it's Monday. It feels good out. I'm going to have a good day.
I am too, and I'm very excited. I hope everybody has a wonderful day and a wonderful start to your week, albeit a little bit foggy for some folks. We're watching that dense fog advisory. It was extended a little bit farther south, but we've taken that up just a little bit more to just our far northern counties. So that's from Estill County to Dickinson and Buchanan County, Virginia, until about 10 o'clock this morning. So maybe drive a little bit more carefully if you're heading out the door this morning. We are watching partly cloudy skies as well on satellite and radar, and that's pretty much what we're tracking all day long. Nothing too crazy. A very slight chance for some spotty showers as we're heading into the late morning hours. Again, mostly dry though for today. We're talking temperatures in the upper 30s and low 40s as you're starting off your day. Again, not too terrible. Pleasant day ahead with high temperatures warming into the upper 50s and low 60s. Neely.
Megan, thank you. 3 people were killed in a house fire in Leslie County. It happened along US 421 near the Hyden community Friday night. Fire crews were able to put out that fire, but KSB tells us the remains of 3 people were found inside. They have now been identified as 56-year-old Lisa Markham, 50-year-old Jadina Begley, and 84-year-old June Nance. The 1006 Volunteer Fire Department says there was also a teenager in the home who was taken to the hospital. The investigation remains ongoing and no foul play is suspected. A Laurel County man is now pleading guilty to federal drug trafficking and weapons charges. 54-year-old Scotty Shelton was facing several charges, including possession and intent to distribute 500 or more grams of a substance containing meth. Shelton was indicted in August and originally faced a 3rd charge of possessing an unregistered destructive device, but his plea deal dropped that charge. Federal agents found thousands of pills, a kilogram of meth, and more than 70 guns at his home. Investigators also found a human bone in what was described as a torture chamber. He is facing 10 years to life in prison. It's now been more than 2 weeks since Nancy Guthrie was reported missing. Authorities are honing in on articles of clothing the suspect was seen wearing and security cam footage from that night in the investigation. Today's show host Savannah Guthrie has posted a new video with a message for the person holding her mother.
We still have hope. It is never too late to do the right thing.
The FBI is now offering a $100,000 reward for information that leads either to the location of Nancy Guthrie or to the suspect. They are encouraging the public to reach out to the tip line set up by the FBI and Pima County Sheriff's Department. The Department of Justice has sent Congress a list of potentially exposed persons in the millions of files related to the probes on convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The DOJ sent the list in a 6-page letter and includes the names of many prominent figures. The list comes after a House panel Wednesday where Attorney General Pam Bondi defended the DOJ's handling of the files. Kentucky Congressman Thomas Massey says the DOJ has made mistakes.
I know the DOJ wants to say they're done with this document production. The problem is they've taken down documents before we were able to go over to the DOJ and look at the unredacted versions. They took down some of the most significant documents, 2 of them involving Virginia Giuffre's case.
No one on the released list other than Epstein and his accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell, have ever been charged in connection with Epstein's crimes. A partial government shutdown is entering its 3rd day with Democrats and Republicans still divided over funding for the Department of Homeland Security and Immigration Enforcement. Bradley Blackburn has more on where things stand and what's being affected by the stalemate.
At airports this morning, TSA lines should be running normally, but checkpoint agents are now working without the promise of a paycheck as the funding fight in Washington continues.
ICE is totally out of control, and they need to be reined in.
Democrats are refusing to fund the Department of Homeland Security, affecting agencies like the TSA, FEMA, and the U.S. Coast Guard because they first want reforms at ICE, including banning face coverings for agents, requiring officers to display ID, and wear body cameras.
Judicial warrants should be required before ICE agents can storm private property or rip everyday Americans out of their homes.
Congress themselves wrote the Immigration Nationality Act that gave power on administrative warrant.
On Face the Nation Sunday, President Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, said ICE is acting within federal law, but the administration has made changes as criticism of ICE piles up, pulling the surge of agents out of Minnesota. In Minneapolis over the weekend, another memorial was held for Alex Preddy and Renee Good, who were killed by law enforcement agents during the surge. The Minneapolis mayor says the immigration crackdown cost his city $203 million in January alone, and he's now asking the federal government for financial assistance. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Congress is now on recess and won't be back in session until February 23rd. That means they'll have just days to reach a deal before some federal workers miss their first paycheck on March 3rd. Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear is one of 18 Democratic governors boycotting White House events. The move comes after President Trump did not invite any Democratic governors to a bipartisan meeting happening this Friday. The meeting typically includes governors, President Trump, and other White House leaders. Trump invited all governors to attend the event last Wednesday in a letter that called it a misunderstanding in scheduling. But two Democratic governors were still left off the invite list. Trump said on social media that he didn't invite governors Wes Moore and Jared Solis because he didn't think they were, quote, worthy of being there. This prompted 18 other governors to release a statement saying they're boycotting the event, including Beshear.
The president has just turned it into drama, inviting and disinviting others. It no longer looks like it's going to be productive at all. At this point, I'm not going. If you're not going to invite all the Democratic governors, this chair of the DGA isn't going to be there.
All governors who signed the boycott statement are Democrats. There are 5 Democratic governors who were not listed on the statement. State lawmakers want to help students make up lost time in the classroom after the winter storm. 2 different emergency bills were filed in the House Thursday. House Bill 631 would let school districts add 10 more non-traditional instruction days to their calendar. It's being sponsored by representatives from both parties. 5 House Republicans are sponsoring House Bill 635. It would let districts extend school days so they wouldn't have to add time at the end of the school year. Both bills were introduced Thursday. Kentucky's Senate passed a bill that would allow medical professionals to reject performing a service based on their conscience. This is the 3rd year in a row that Republican legislators have tried to pass similar bills. Supporters say the bill will protect the moral and religious conscience of healthcare professionals. Others disagree, saying the law would create barriers for many people seeking care. The bill now heads to the State House of Representatives. Your favorite bottle of bourbon or 6-pack of beer could soon cost you a lot more. House Bill 612 was introduced to the legislature last week. It would add a 4% tax on every alcoholic beverage sold in the state. Local businesses say the extra tax would be devastating. The fee would have to be passed to customers and businesses already paying 8% in fees on their sales. General Manager of Bourbon House Pizza, Micah Dennison, says he doesn't understand why lawmakers would push for the extra fees.
I mean, we'd just like a seat at the table to get a better understanding of, why they want to do this. Does it make sense? And are there any solutions that maybe work out better for all parties?
The bill doesn't specify where the money from the extra fee would be going, but it does say 0.5% of it would go to the Alcoholic Wellness and Responsibility Fund.
We're still tracking nice temperatures this morning. A tad chilly for some, but for the most part, the upper 30s and low 40s aren't that bad, especially for mid-February. As we head into the afternoon, these temperatures will only continue to improve as the upper 50s and low 60s take over. And thankfully, we're just looking at partly cloudy skies throughout the day, so those temperatures are definitely going to feel very pleasant all day long. Speaking of those partly cloudy skies, here's what we're looking at right now on satellite and radar. And this will just be hanging out for the next couple hours, and some folks even dealing with some fog as you are heading out and on the road this morning. Here's a look at that planning forecast for you, though. Again, a very slight chance for maybe some spotty showers for our northern counties early this morning. For the most part, though, nice and dry all day long. Neely.
Thank you, Megan, and thank you for getting your day started with us here on Mountain News this morning. President's Day deals aren't just about saving money. They could help you get some extra Z's. More on what sleep scientists say you should look for when buying a new mattress.